Welcome back to the Rundown Lab, where we break down and fact-check the biggest videos and podcasts. We know your time is valuable, but when you can, we recommend catching the full video by Lillie Kane. Links are in the description. What if the cheese you're buying today isn't really cheese anymore? That's essentially the question posed in a recent episode that's been making the rounds online. In this episode, Lillie Kane dives into what's actually in modern cheese products, from anti-caking agents to different milk proteins, and whether these changes matter for our health. It's a topic that resonates with anyone who's ever flipped over a package of shredded cheese and wondered what all those extra ingredients are doing there. So let's break down what the episode gets right, where it oversimplifies, and what you should actually take away. First, the good news. The foundational information here is solid. The episode correctly explains that traditional cheese is made from just a handful of ingredients, namely milk, salt, and bacterial cultures, sometimes with rennet as a coagulant. That's accurate and well established in food science. The claim that anti-caking agents are mostly found in shredded cheese, grated Parmesan, and bagged cheese blends is also true. These additives, things like cellulose and various starches, are specifically added to pre-shredded products to prevent clumping, and they're simply not needed in block cheese. The episode also does well explaining the history. Pasteurization really did come later in cheesemaking history, with the technique invented in the early 1800s, while cheesemaking dates back thousands of years. And the information about A1 versus A2 milk proteins is accurate too. A2 is indeed the ancestral form, with the A1 mutation appearing roughly 5 to 10,000 years ago as cattle were domesticated in Europe. The claim that goat and sheep dairy are naturally A2 checks out as well, with lab testing showing goat milk contains over 99% A2 beta-casein. The discussion of emulsifiers and metabolic health is actually one of the stronger points. Research published in The Lancet has found associations between emulsifier intake and type 2 diabetes risk, and the mechanism described, involving intestinal permeability and inflammation, is documented in peer-reviewed literature. So the recommendation to be mindful of emulsifier intake is evidence-based. Now, here's where things get more complicated. Several claims in this episode present one side of a more nuanced picture. Take the claim that anti-caking agents can cause bloating and digestive discomfort. While this is plausible for some sensitive individuals, food scientists point out that the amounts used in cheese are nearly negligible. There's no specific research examining digestive effects from the small quantities found in shredded cheese, so presenting this as a common concern overstates the evidence. Similarly, the discussion of A1 dairy causing headaches, sinus issues, and acne is oversimplified. The European Food Safety Authority conducted a comprehensive review and found insufficient evidence to establish these causal relationships. Some individuals do report improvements when switching to A2 dairy, but controlled studies haven't consistently demonstrated these effects. The episode hedges with phrases like, "for some people," which is appropriate, but the overall impression may leave listeners more concerned than the evidence warrants. The claims about raw dairy are where the episode really needed more balance. Yes, raw milk contains more active enzymes than pasteurized milk, but scientific evidence that these enzymes significantly improve lactose digestion in humans is limited and inconsistent. Blind studies haven't been able to find reliable differences in digestive symptoms between raw and pasteurized milk. More importantly, the episode mentions potential benefits of raw cheese without adequately addressing the food safety risks. CDC data shows raw dairy causes 96% of dairy-related foodborne illnesses. That's a significant omission when recommending these products. The sponsored content about colostrum supplements also deserves scrutiny. While colostrum does contain bioactive compounds, the 400-plus nutrients figure appears to be marketing language rather than a verified scientific count. More importantly, experts quoted in National Geographic note there is very little evidence that colostrum supplements are effective for healthy adults. The Mayo Clinic describes colostrum as a high-cost supplement with mixed or minimal scientific evidence. One claim, that block cheese goes on sale more often than shredded, simply doesn't have evidence behind it either way. Both go on sale. There's no data supporting which is discounted more frequently. What is well documented is that block cheese costs less per ounce overall. So here's the bottom line. This episode gets the basics right. Traditional cheese is simple. Shredded cheese does contain additives that block cheese doesn't. And there are legitimate questions worth asking about modern food processing. The information about emulsifiers and metabolic health is actually well supported by emerging research. However, the episode would benefit from more balanced presentation. Claims about digestive effects of various additives, the benefits of A1 versus A2 milk, and especially raw dairy, are presented more definitively than the evidence supports. And when evaluating sponsored content about supplements, it's always worth seeking out independent research. If you're concerned about cheese ingredients, buying block cheese and shredding it yourself is a simple solution that also saves money. But for most people, the occasional bag of shredded cheese isn't something to lose sleep over. If you enjoyed listening, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons, and we'll see you in the next one.